Good day, everyone. I'm Arvin Enriquez, your subject teacher in General Mathematics. With this video lesson, we're going to discuss the topics interest, maturity, future, and present values in simple and compound interest under your General Mathematics from Quarter 2, Module 2. Our lesson objective. At the end of this video lesson, you are expected to compute interest, maturity value, future value, and present value in simple interest environment. Second, compute interest, maturity value, future value, and present value in compound interest environment. And last, derive the formula of simple and compound interest to compute the maturity, future, and present value. Now, let's deal with the interest, maturity, future, and present values in simple interest. Business transactions are common events we experience in our daily lives. Yes, it is, no? Some of these transactions are banking activities like withdrawal, deposits, and loans, and some are done in supermarkets when when customers use credit cards and other do it in the pawn shop. So with the concept of credit card, it's the same concept to what, for example, home credit can bring to us. No, it's the same credit with, it's the same concept. I mean, no, with the online lending companies that can provide us, no, funds for us to buy, no, whatever we want to buy at the moment, for example. So that concept, no, are somehow or under, no, the banking activities that we are dealing with nowadays. So when these transactions occur, there are two parties involved. Yes, it is, no? The lender and the borrower. The lender is someone or an institution, no, that can provide or make the funds available. And the borrower, from the word borrower, these are person or institution that borrows money from the lender for some use. For example, that will serve as an as their capital, no, if decided to deal with some businesses and they need to have more funds, no, for them to execute, no, what they need to execute. So hence there are involves, no, a particular amount which we call interest. Yes, it is, no, there is an interest in every principal or money uh, that a lender, no, can provide, no, or the funds wherein the lender, no, can provide it makes the fund available to a borrower. Then they apply an what we call interest on this. It depends on the agreement, no, between the lender and the borrower. Everything that we have right now is just borrowed. Our talents, yes, it is, no, your jobs, or even our lives. God is the sole persona who does not charge interest from that what he lent. However, the money that we borrowed from others has a certain computation in finding the interest which will be tackled in this module. Yes, it is, no. All of the lender apply, no, an interest to each of the money that a borrower borrows from them. So the rate of interest will be dependent on the agreement or on the guidelines that these lenders, no, provided. So in this module, we're going to discuss how we compute, or we can show the computation on finding the interest. Again, once you are dealing with your simple interest, the computation of your simple interest will be dependent, only on the principal. Meaning to say, we apply the interest only on the principal uh, being provided by the lender that these borrowers borrowed from them. Let us now analyze the conversation of Janice and Jamaica. So with the title, let's say, Janice and Jamaica are both senior high school students. After class, the two had conversation. Janice said, "Wow, your cell phone is so cool. Is that new?" Jamaica replied, "Thank you. And yes, I just bought it yesterday." Janice replied again, "Did your mother give you money? What will you do with your old cell phone?" And Jamaica said, "No, I save up my allowance to accumulate enough money to buy this phone. I'm still using my old phone. I will use my new phone for social media accounts." Janice replied, "How much is that?" Jamaica, "It is only 2,300 pesos, but it is already Android, so I can download different applications like TikTok and Snapchat. Therefore, I will not be bored." Then Janice replied, "Oh, we are almost the same. I also saved 2,300 pesos already from my allowance, Jamaica." Jamaica said, "What do you plan to buy from your savings?" Janice said, "My old cell phone is still working, so I think there is no need for me to buy a new one. It will be better if I save this money." And Jamaica said, "But your money might get lost if you did not spend it." And Janice replied, "I saw an advertisement in Lucena Cooperative Bank that the minimum amount to open an account for a student is 2,000 pesos, and they call it Kid Savers." And Jamaica replied, "Is there an advantage if you put the money on the bank?" And Janice replied to Jamaica, "According to the advertisement, there will be 2.5% interest in a year. I will use it when I go to college." So these are the guide questions for us to go deeper with the conversation of Janice and Jamaica. For the first question, what is the dialogue all about? Second, do you think saving money is important? So you can explain your answer. And third, do you think it is wrong for Jamaica to buy a new cell phone? And fourth, what can you say about Janice's attitude towards money? Number five, how much will Janice save after 2 years? So what will be the future value of what Janice deposited, on that cooperative bank after 2 years? And for the last question, how do you value education? So from the previous conversation, you can say that one of the sources of funds of ordinary students in their allowance. A person always can decide on things they wanted to do on the money that they possess. Yes, it is, no. But what my advice to my student is that save first before buying something, that can satisfy your wants only. So in the scenario, you saw two different kinds of students. One who saves to be able to buy the things she wanted, and other one is saving for her future. It is better for us to save for our future than to buy what we wanted, no? At the moment. Because what is important is that we are dealing with something at present to make our future or to change, no, whatever our uh, standing or situations or scenarios in life, no. We are working, we are studying at the present because we want to change whatever we have, no, at the moment, because we always want development and improvement in our life. That's why we need to save first for our future before uh, buying our wants. So it is the same scenario that we can apply on this conversation of Janice and Jamaica. So in doing so, she invested her money in a bank that earns interest. So in computing the simple interest and other related components, the formula is, no, from our previous module, we simply use IS, no, I sub S is equal to PRT. Your IS is your simple interest. Your P is the principal, or the amount, no, or the amount invested or borrowed or present value, or that will be the principal, no, that a borrower borrows, no, from the lender. So that will be the principal. And R is the simple interest rate, no. Again, if the given in a certain problem is in terms of percent, then we need to convert this into decimal before we substitute to the formula. And your T is the time or term in terms of years. No, that's why if there is a given value of time which is months, no, that pertains to month or months, then we really need to divide it by 12 for us to convert this one in terms of years. Because your T here, your time or term here should be in terms of year or years. Now, no, we can manipulate the given formula for simple interest, no, for us to have or for us to visualize more the relationship, no, between the principal, the rate of interest, the time or term, and the simple interest itself, no. So the formula for finding the principal amount, no, since your IS here, is equal to PRT, so we just simply divide the both sides of the equation by RT, and for us to cancel your RT here, no, that can be multiplied to your P. Now, in this case, if you're asked for the value of your principal, you just simply divide your simple interest by your R, or your rate of interest, multiplied by the time or term, which is your T. Now, for the formula, no, for finding the rate, and you're asked to find the rate, and there's a given value of your simple interest, your principal, and your time, we just simply divide your simple interest here by your principal multiplied by your time. So whatever the product between your principal and your time or term, then we divide it to your simple interest, and that will be your rate of interest. Now, for the formula, no, for the binding the time, it's the same scenario, no. We divide your simple interest by the product, no, of your principal and the rate of interest. So the time or term should be in terms of years. So please do check, no, if the time is in terms of years. So if not, then we need to convert this one. So now, so to find the maturity or future value, you can use either of the following, no? Your f or your future value is equal to p multiplied by 1 plus rt, no? Or p is equal to p plus is. So two different formulas, but we can arrive, no, with the same answers. Why? Because if this is your p here, no, we copy your p, and your is or your simple interest is equal to PRT, we just simply factor out your p here, and it's the same formula with this one, no? We just simply factor out your p, then multiplied by 1 because this is p, then plus RT because this is PRT. So we just simply factor out your P here and P in your second term here. So your F is the maturity or future value, meaning to say that your maturity or future value, the interest has been applied, no, being applied, no, to your principal. So meaning to say this future value is equal to your principal plus the interest applied on it. Your IS is still your simple interest. Your P is the principal or the amount invested or borrowed or present value. And R is still the simple interest rate, and T is the time or term in terms of years. Let us take the following for example. For example number 1, there's a given principal which is 18,500 pesos. Your rate of interest is 0.03 and your T is equal to 5 years. So it's automatic. It's 5 years even there is no unit of measure or units, no, on this given value. It is automatic that the given value is in terms of years because your T in your IS is equal to PRT should be in terms of years. So find the simple interest IS. So for the computation of your IS, we simply use this formula. I sub S is equal to PRT or principal multiplied by rate of interest multiplied by the time or term. Since there are given values, no, for your P, your R, and T, we just simply substitute these given values to the given formula. Your I sub S now is equal to 18,500 multiplied by 0.03 multiplied by 5. So using your calculator, we just simply simplify this one, and by performing the operation on this equation, the resulting value now is 2,775 pesos. So this will be the value of your simple interest, no, after 5 years, no? If there is a principal involved which is 18,500 with the rate of interest which is 0.03, after 5 years, this 18,500 will earn 2,775 pesos as the simple interest applied to this 18,500 pesos with a 0.03% rate of interest. So for example number 2, so there's a given principal which is 20,000, your simple interest is 4,000 pesos, and your time is equal to 4 years. So find the rate of interest which is your R. So in finding the rate of interest, no, we simply again use your IS is equal to PRT. We just simply look for the value of R by simply dividing, no, by simply dividing your simple interest by the product of your principal and your time. So if we substitute the given values for this example number 2, your rate of interest now is equal to 4,000 over your 20,000 multiplied by 4. So, upon performing, no, and applying your MDAS, we apply your multiplication, then we apply again your division, no? Then, the resulting value on this one is 0.05 as the rate of interest, no? That we applied within 4 years. Now, if we multiply this 0.05 no, by 100 for us to convert this decimal to percent, we just simply multiply again, no? We multiply your 0.05 by 100, and the resulting value now is R is equal to 5%. No. So with the principal of 20,000 pesos and the simple interest which is 4,000 pesos, and with the value of time which is 4, the rate of interest now is equal to 5%, and that will be the final answer for this example number 2. So for example number 3, so there is a given P which is 40,000 pesos. Your simple interest is 700 pesos and your rate of interest which is your 7%. So we're asked to find the value of T or time or term. So by simply again using your formula which is your I sub S is equal to PRT, or the formula for simple interest, we can find now the value of T which is equal to IS divided by the product of your principal and your rate of interest R. Now we substitute the given the given values to the formula, and we can arrive to 700 all over your 40,000 multiplied by 0.07. So the resulting value right after performing the operation, your T now is equal to 0.25, no? And to express your answer as unit of time, we can say that this 0.25 is 1/4 year or 3 months. Because this 0.25 as a value of your T is 25%, no, of a year. Meaning to say, if there are 12 months in a year, your 0.25 pertains to 3 months, or that will be equal to 3 months, or 1/4 year. So again, with the given values of P, which is 40,000 pesos, your simple interest is 700 pesos, and your R is 7%, the term or time in years is 1/4 year or 3 months. And that will be the final answer for this example number 3. So for example number 4, given your principal fees is 15,000 pesos, so your T is 4 months, your R is 2%, so find the maturity or future value F, no? So with this one, so we apply your F is equal to P plus I. Your P is your principal and your I is your simple interest for this one. So in this case, no, the given value of T or term is 4 months. So that's why we need to divide it by 12. So we divide by 12, or simply is equal to 1/3 year. So this time, no, or term, which is equal to 4 months, can be converted to 1/3 year, no. So use the formula of maturity or future value. Maturity value or future value, no. So we simply use this F is equal to P multiplied by 1 plus RT, no. This formula, it's the same thing with P plus I, no. Then we substitute the uh, given values now with this example number 4. Then we apply your 15,000. The next 1 plus 0.02, that will be your rate of interest. So once we convert this one to decimal, we divide by 100. So it becomes 0.02 multiplied by 1/3. 1/3 is the time or term. Once we convert this 4 months to year, that will be equal to 1/3 year. Now, hint, time must be expressed in years, so 4 months will become 1/3 year. Yes, it is, no? Because your time, your term in the formula should be in terms of year or years. So right after performing the operations, then we come up with 15,100 pesos as your future value Again, that will be your 15,100 pesos. And for alternative solution, no, first thing to do is to convert. No, we apply this formula that your F now is equal to P plus your IS or simple interest. First thing to do is to look for the value of this IS. That's why we compute for the value of IS is equal to 15,000 multiply by 0.02 multiply by 1/3. Then we come up with the answer of 100 pesos as your simple interest. Now, if the principal in the given problem is 15,000 pesos, we just simply add this IS. So that will be equal to 15,000 plus 100 or simply equal to 15,100 pesos. So this value here is the same value, no? Even if we have two formulas, but still we can arrive on the same value of your future value or maturity value in this example number 4. Now let's deal with the interest, maturity, future, and present values in compound interest. So the previous lesson reiterates the importance of simple interest in a certain transaction. Interest is a natural event in a business transaction. Yes, it is, no? However, not all interest is classified as simple interest. Some of them are considered as compound interest. No, how can we compute your compound interest? No, we compute compound interest will be computed, uh, through your principal and the interest. That's why we define your compound interest as an interest, on interest. Meaning to say, once we apply an interest to your principal, we apply your interest to a principal, this interest will earn another interest, and that will be your compound interest. So this lesson will delve into compound interest and the different components involved in, such as present value and maturity value. So for you to begin considering the lesson the previous module, which is essential in obtaining a success in this lesson. So compound interest now is not like a simple interest wherein only the principal is considered in the computation in this type of interest. No? Considers the principal and the accumulated past interest. Now, in this case, your computation of your compound interest will be dependent on the principal and the accumulated past interest. Unlike in your simple interest, it's only computed using your principal. So the frequency of conversion, nominal rate, and rate of interest for each conversion period will also play an important role in this lesson. That's why, you really need to listen and really need to read, these modules. You also learned from the previous lesson that in getting the maturity value, the formula is F is equal to IS plus P or your principal will be used and in the finding the principal or present value. So given the interest and maturity value, the formula now is equal to F is equal to IS can be employed. So we just simply transposing one variable to another side for us to get no the unknown values. Considering that there's a given two values, there are two known values in the formula. So we just simply manipulate the formula, transpose the unknown value to another side, and put all the given values to one side, and for us to and apply the operations for us to get the value of the unknown value for this or for the kind of problem being given to us. So let us take the following example and for us to visualize the concept of this one, that your F now is equal to P plus your simple interest IS. Now for example number one, your given is P and your IS and you're asked to find the value of your future value or maturity value. So your F now is 35,000 plus 4,000 is equal to 39,000 pesos. That will be your future value if your principal is 35 and your simple interest is 4,000. Now, for example number 2, there's a given future value and principal, and we're asked to find the value of the interest. Now, looking for the formula here, we just simply transpose this P to the other side, so it becomes IS is equal to F minus P. So your F is 50,000 minus 45,000, so that will be your P, and this is your F. So your interest now is 5,000 pesos. For example number 2. Now for example number 3, no, given your IS is equal to 2,000 pesos and your F is 23,000 pesos, find P. So we're asked to find P. So your 23,000 pesos, that will be your F, minus your 2,000. So from the future value, for if we're asked to find the principal or the present value, no, so we just simply subtract your interest to your maturity value or future value for us to get the value of your principal, which is 21,000 pesos now. So there's a typographical error here. There's no B here. So it should be 23,000 pesos minus 2,000 pesos. So it becomes 21,000 pesos. So let us save. So we use this concept again or this scenario for us to discuss, no, the future, the maturity value, no, the present value and the interest, no, with respect to the compound environment, no. Let's use this scenario with the title "Let's Save." So Michael is planning to apply for a loan in Quezon Cooperative Bank. He is already aware, no, aware of the terms payment for his loan, but when he is about to fax his application form and compare his computation with terms of payment provided by the bank, he notices some discrepancies. So Michael's computation, so the amount of loan is 100,000, the interest rate is 3%. After 3 years, so the computation now is one. He apply, no, he say the simple interest here. This is 100,000 multiplied by 0.03 multiplied by 3 years. So the simple interest now is 9,000 pesos. Then he add he added this 9,000 pesos to 100,000 pesos here. And the resulting value after 3 years is 109,000 pesos. So his 100,000 pesos earn, no, 9,000 pesos after 3 years. While in the computation from the bank, no, the amount of loan is 100,000 pesos. The interest rate is 3%, so it's the same interest rate with Michael's computation, no, after 3 years. But in this case, no, in this case, the interest now is 3,000 in the first year, so it becomes 103. The amount is 103, and 6,090 in the second year for the interest, and 106,019 as the amount in the second year, no, up to the last, which is your third year. So in this case, no, as you can see, there's a discrepancy, no, between the computation of Michael and the bank, no, with 272 pesos point 70 centavos. So that will be the difference, no, between the computation of Michael and the computation of the bank. Now, in this case, as you can see, no, the computations of the bank, no, wherein they apply the same interest with with Michael, no, which is 3%. These 100,000 pesos earned more than what uh, Michaels can earn from his computation. So that's the only no na observations that we can get from this table, no, that the computation of bank earned, no, the interest computed on this bank is more than the computed interest on what Michaels did, no, in this computation. So to enlighten, he asked some explanations why they have different computations, and the bank gave him the detailed computation. So at 0 as a value of your time or term, no, this will be the starting point, no, and the principal is 100 pesos, wherein there's no interest being applied on it. So after 1 year, when your t is 1, then we apply the 1.03. We multiply it by 1.03 because this 0.03 here, no, represent the interest. That's why we really need 1 plus 0.03, because if we multiply by 1 this 100%, there is no interest yet. But once we add to 1, no, that is your 0.03, and the interest was being applied, no, on your 100,000 pesos, and it becomes 103,000 pesos. After 2 years of applying, then we apply 1.03 again, then it becomes 106,090 pesos. After 3 years, no, 106 090 multiplied by 103, no, and becomes 109,272.70 pesos as the final amount that Michael can get, no, after 3 years, no, once he decided to put, or once he decided to deposit, no, his money to this bank. So these are the following guided questions, no, guide questions na for us to go deeper with the situation of Michael's in saving his money. So first question is that, is Michael's computation correct? Is it correct? Number two, is the bank's computation fair, and why? Number three, how much is the difference in the total amount to be paid between Michael's computation and the bank's computation? And for number four, what do you think the bank's computation yielded more interest? So here, as you can see, no, we can visualize that there is a compound interest, no, in this bank. For number five, do you think the bank committed an error in computation of the amount to be paid? What's new? Michael's computation about amount of loan is 100,000 pesos. Interest rate is 3%. Due date after 3 years. Computation is interest is equal to 100,000 multiplied by 0.03 multiplied by 3 now. Then it becomes 9,000 pesos. Amount to be paid after 3 years. So the computed value now is 109, no, 109,000 pesos. And the computation from the bank amount of loan is 100,000 pesos interest. Rate of interest is 3%. Year 1, 2, 3, no? The interest is 3,600, 6,090, 9,272.70 respectively. And the final amount becomes 109,272.70, no? And if we try to convert this one, no, if we compare this one to 109, no, it earns more. The money of Michael earns more, no, with the computation of bank. And for number 6, if the term of payment will be longer, what do you think will happen between the difference of the amount to be paid in Michael's computation and the bank's computation? And for the last guide question, no, if you are Michael and you follow the computation made by the bank, do you think there is a way to lessen the amount to be paid at the end of 3 years? How? Yes, it is, no, by simply lessen, no, the number of years or the time or term. So if there's an increase of time in term, no, with the payment of with how Michael will pay his loan, for example, then no, there is an increase on the interest. If we lessen, no, the number of years or term, we cut, no, for example, your time or term is equal to 2 years, then the amount or the amount of interest that Michael can pay, no, will pay, I mean, no, is lesser than the amount that will pay after 3 years. So if we lessen, no, if there's a decrease in the number of terms or time, there is also a decrease in the number or in the amount of interest being applied on the loan. Notice that there is a difference, no, between the computation of Michael and the bank concerning the amount to be paid for the loan after 3 years. So Michael used simple interest to find the amount to be paid for the loan for 3 years. However, the bank computes first the interest for the first year and added it to the amount of loan. And then, the resulting amount becomes the basis for computing the total amount to be paid for the second year. And it follows the same patterns for the third year. So interest plays, no, a major role in computation because it became one of the factors in determining the amount to be paid for the succeeding years. So in such a case, no, we call that compound interest. To gain a better understanding of what compound interest is, the following formulas will be taken into consideration. Now again, your compound interest is the interest on interest. It will be computed, no, based on the principal and the interest. So it's totally a different scenario once you are asked to compute for a simple interest, because your simple interest will only dependent, no, on and will be computed using only your principal. So to find the compound interest, which is compounded annually, the formula to find the maturity value is this one. Your P now is equal to, your F now is equal to P multiplied by 1 plus R raised to T. Your T here is your exponent to your whatever the resulting value between your 1 and R, or rate of interest, wherein your F now is the maturity or future value, your P is the principal or present value, your R is the interest rate, your T or term or time in terms of years. Still, it should be in terms of years, no? Now, to find the compound interest, use the formula here. Your formula here is F minus P, or the future or maturity value minus your present or principal value, and that will be equal to I sub C, or the compound interest. Then your IC I sub c is the compound interest. Your P and F, no, there is no change with the representation of your P and F. Now, to find the present value or principal of the maturity value due in T years, the formulas are. So this formula is from this formula. So we just simply manipulate the formula, and for us to look for the unknown values and for us to compute these unknown values for P, or if you're asked to find the P, then we divide your future value or maturity value by uh, the resulting value from 1 plus r raised to t, or simply your P now, in this case, is equal to F 1 plus R raised to negative T. It's negative T because again, once we move this 1 plus R raised to T, from denominator to numerator, we just simply multiply the exponent by negative 1. Meaning to say, it represents the reciprocal, no? Again, if we move this denominator to the numerator, we just simply multiply the exponent by negative 1. That's why it becomes negative t here. So with this example number 1, the given your fee is 18,500, your R or rate of interest is 3% and compounded annually for 3 years. So we're asked to find the maturity value F and the computed compound interest I sub C. So we simply use the formula in this one for us to find the value of your maturity value or your future value. Then, since there's a given value for P and R, and there is a value of T which is 3 years, so we can apply now, or we can substitute the given values to the given formula, which is your F is equal to P multiplied by 1 plus R raised to T. So upon applying your given values, which is 18,500 multiplied by 1 plus 0.03 raised to 3, after performing the operations needed, for us to find the resulting value, and now the resulting value is 20,215.45. Now, this will be the future value, which is 20,215.45. Now, after getting the future value, and we have your principal, for us to get the value of your compound interest, we just simply subtract your principal to your future value or maturity value. That's why it becomes 20,215 pesos and 45 centavos minus 18,500. So the resulting value, is 1,715 pesos point 45 centavos. And this will be the compound interest, meaning to say, dealing with 18,500 as your principal with the rate of interest which is 3%, that is compounded annually for 3 years, the money will earn 1,715 pesos point 45 centavos. So therefore, our final answer with this one, the maturity value is 20,215.45 pesos, and the compound interest is now 1,715.45 pesos. So for example number 2, there's a given F or future value or maturity value, your R or rate of interest, which is equal to 2% compounded annually for 4 years. Find the present value P, and we're asked now to find the value of P. So using the formula, by simply manipulating the formula, transposing your 1 plus R raised to T to another side of your equation, So from multiplication, the operation becomes division. That's why we divide, no, your future value by the resulting value from 1 plus r raised to t. So then, since there's a given, or there are values, no, being given on this one for your f, for your r, and t, we just simply substitute the given values to your given formula. And it becomes 15,000 pesos over, no, over 1 plus 0.02 raised to 4. And that will be the value, no? The value that we're going to compute for P will from this, we apply your operations here. Then after performing the operations, the resulting value now is 13,857.68. And this will be the principal or present value, no? So since your future value is 15,000, no, more or less, this money, earn 1,100 plus pesos, no, because the principal is only 13,857, and after 4 years, it becomes 15,000. Therefore, it earns more than 1,100 pesos. Now, since we're asked to find the value of your present value, then our final answer is 13,857 pesos point 68 centavos. So here, let's deal now with compounding more than once a year. So in the examples, no, 1 and 2, or examples above, the interests are compounded annually. And there is no problem with that because your T is in terms of years. It's automatic in terms of years when you're dealing with compounded annually. However, there are cases that interest is compounded more than once a year. So in this case, additional terms must be clarified, such as, no? So it can be semi-annually, quarterly, no, or monthly. So it depends on the given problem. Now, for us to clarify, uh, some additional terms from this compounded, no, more than once a year, no. First thing is frequency of conversion M. So the number of conversion period in 1 year. So your M now represent the number of conversion period in 1 year. Next is conversion or interest period. So the time between successive conversion of interest. So meaning to say, if that is compounded quarterly, no, the conversion or interest period is every 3 months. So that's how we look for this conversion or interest period. Now, for the total number of conversion periods n, that will be equal to n is equal to m multiplied by t, or the frequency of conversion multiplied by time in years. So if that is quarterly, there are 4 quarters in a year. That if there are 5 years, no, to be computed, no, then it could be 4 multiplied by 5, and n is equal now to 20. So that's how we compute for the number of conversion periods. The nominal rate. The nominal rate is I. That will be your rate of interest. And your M, what is your M? The frequency of conversion. So, annual rate of interest. Now, once we apply the rate, or we use J to represent this one of interest for each conversion period, no? So it's a different thing, no? When you're asked to the nominal rate, we only use I raised to M. But if we're looking for the rate of interest, no? For each conversion period, it should be J. Your J now is equal to I raised to M, or the nominal rate, no, over your M, or the frequency of conversion. So let's deal now with this table below, no? For us to visualize more how we compute your compounded uh, more than once a year, no? So situations here, 2% compounded annually for 3 years. Your Annually, meaning to say that your M is 1 because it pertains to 1 year, no? 1, meaning to say M is the conversion period, no? So we don't need to put any values on it, and M is automatic 1 because it pertains to annually. So it represents 1 year. Now, M is 1, your T now is equal to 3 as being given on the first column, second row, no? And n now is equal to 1 multiplied by 3 or simply equal to 3. So we just simply multiply m, no? M multiplied by 3 or t now that your n now is equal to m multiplied by t or simply your resulting value is 3. Your I now is equal to I raised to m, no? The nominal rate, your I raised to m, that is 1, that will be equal to 0.02. Your j now is that your im, no? We consider this im. Then m is 1 because it pertains to annually, compounded annually, so it is 1. Therefore, if we divide 0.02 by 1, so the resulting value now is 0.02. Now, in the next row, where it says 2% compounded semi-annually for 3 years, semi-annually pertains to, or it represents 6 months, no? In every year, if we cut 1 year every 6 months, there are two portions, wherein these two portions represent 6 months. Two set of 6 months. That's why your M now is 2 here. Because in 1 year there are 12 months. So if we cut this 12 months by 6 months, then we can create two set. And that M represent the two sets of 6 months. So your M now is equal to 2. Your T is equal to 3. Then we simply multiply 2 by 3 for us to get your n. It becomes 6. Your I raised to m or I raised to 2, that will be 0.02. And your j now, 0.02 over 2, or simply your j or the rate of interest is 0.01. In the next row, your 2% compounded quarterly, no? Please do take note of that. Quarterly means to say, when we say quarterly, no, there are 4 quarters in a year. So quarterly, when we say when we're dealing with your per quarter, it represents 3 months. So if we cut 12 months into 3 months, no, there are 4 sets of 3 months, no, in a year. That's why your M now is equal to 4. Your M multiplied by T, it can provide you, a value of N, which is 12. Because if we multiply 4 by 3, it becomes 12. And for I raised to 4, that will be equal to 0.02. And your J now is 0.02 divided by 4, or it becomes 0.005 as your rate of interest. Next, 2% compounded monthly for 3 years. No? For 3 years, monthly, meaning to say there are 12 months. That's why M represents the conversion period. If that is monthly, there are 12 months. That's why in a year, that's why your M now is equal to 3. And is the number of conversion period. No? That's why we multiply 12 by 3 because within 3 years, there are 36 months. That's why that is the value of your N. And your I raised to 12 now is equal to 0.02. Then we apply for J, 0.02 over 12. That will, it can provide you 0.0016 as a value of your rate of interest. Now, 2% compounded daily for 3 years. In a year, there are 365 days a year. That's why your M now is 365. If we multiply it by 3, because we're dealing with your term or time, which is equal to 3 years, then 365 multiplied by 3, it can provide you 1,000, no? 1,995 days, no, within 3 years. Your I raised to 365, so it becomes 0.02. Then your J now is equal to 0.02 over 365. So whatever the resulting value here, that will be the value of your J. So since the rate for each conversion period is represented by J, then in T years, interest is compounded M multiplied by T times. Thus, the formula for maturity value for interest compounding in M times a year is, so we can simply use this future value when the interest compounding M times a year, no? Where your M is equal to P multiplied by 1 plus J raised to N. Your F is your maturity value, your P is your present value, your J is your rate of interest, your N is the number of conversion period. So meanwhile, no, the formula in finding the present value given the maturity value is that, no, it is from only from the given formula for the future value. So we just simply transposing, no, your 1 plus j raised to n to another side of your equations, from multiplication going to division, no, we change the operation between your variables. Then your p now is equal to f over 1 plus j raised to n. So for example 3, applying this concept, no, you're given your P is 50,000 pesos. Your I raised to 4 is equal to 0.03. It is always given, no, given the problem. Your M is 4 because this 4 pertains to quarterly. It's automatic compounded quarterly, no. Your T is equal to 4. Find F and L I C. So use the formula maturity value wherein your F is equal to P, no, multiply by 1 plus J raised to N. So the exponent N is only for the resulting value between your 1 plus J, I mean. So solve for N and J. So N is 4 multiplied by 4. Your 4 here represent it is compounded quarterly because there are 4 quarters in a year. So if we multiply by 4 years, so there are 16 quarters here. Then for J, we apply your I raised to 4, which is 0.03, divided by 4, or the number of conversion period in a year, that is 4, because there are 4 quarters in a year. So the resulting value for J is 0.0075. Now, let's substitute the values of the known variables. Since we have the value of your P, your J and N being computed, no, for the value of your I, M, and T, then we can move forward in substituting the known variables, no, to the given formula, which is 50,000 multiplied by 1 plus 0.0075 raised to 16. So the resulting value for this one is 56,349 pesos point 61 centavos, and that will be your future value. Now, how can we get the compounded interest? No, we simply subtract your principal or present value to your future value, and for us to get the value of your compound interest. So your IC now is equal to F minus P, or future value minus your present value. So it becomes 56,349 pesos point 61 centavos minus 50,000 pesos. So it becomes 6,349.61 pesos. Meaning to say that the interest, no, once we're dealing with compound interest, no, with the given values, no, your 50,000 can earn 6,349.61 after 4 years. No, applying, no, your rate of interest, which is 0.03, and it is compounded quarterly. So therefore, the maturity value now is 56,000 6,349.61 and the compound interest is 6,349 pesos point 61. So that will be the final answer for this one. So for example number 4, given this is your F, no, which is 45,000 pesos. Your I raised to 2 is 0.02. Your M is equal to 2, meaning to say it is semi-annually. No? It is compounded semi-annually. Your T is 4 or 4 years. Find IC. So for your P, for us to find the present value, we just simply manipulating the formula, the sign, no, for your future value or maturity value by simply transposing your 1 plus j raised as to n to another side of your equation, and it becomes P is equal to F over 1 plus j raised to n. Now compute for the value of n. Your n now is 2 multiplied by 4. There are 8 set of 6 months in 4 years. So your J, no, is equal to 0.02 divided by 2. Then the resulting value is 0.01. Since we have the value of N and J, we can actually solve for the value of your P by simply substituting these values, no? 45,000 over 1 plus 0.01 or raised to 8. Then the resulting value for the present value or principal, no, is 41,556.75 pesos. So that will be your present value here. Now, for us to get the value of your compound interest, no, we just simply apply or we just simply substitute this we subtract this P to your F, or we subtract your present value to your future value, so it becomes 45,000 minus 556, no, 0.75 pesos, and the resulting value for your computed interest is 3,443 pesos, 0.25 centavos. So therefore, the present value is 41,556.75 pesos, and the compound interest is 3,443 pesos, 0.25 centavos. And that will be the final answer for this example number 4. So for the activity, so read the statement and answer the question that follows. So here there's a given statement, then you need to answer the given questions, no? So that is for your activity. You can put your answer in your Katleya notebook and pass it on the said or on the due date, no, for this activity. Thanks for watching. So please like, comment, and subscribe.